Welcome back and good evening. I'm Eric.
I'm Eric.
And we are Eric's Drink Whiskey. We are here tonight with the second installment of our Mash Bill series. And we are talking about the most famous of American whiskeys, and that is Kentucky Straight Bourbon. So stick around and we'll give you the rundown of what makes bourbon, what you can expect with flavor. And we've got two really nice, affordable picks lined up for you. So stay tuned.
All right, and we're back. Eric, how are you, man?
Fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and I would just like to say I'm digging that bow tie.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Figured, looks like we both got the memo that what better way to celebrate Kentucky bourbon than to look like we're off to a day at the races. So we are talking about America's native spirit, bourbon whiskey. Now, what makes bourbon bourbon, Eric?
All right, there is a pretty lengthy sheet set out by the TTB, but I'm just going to give you a quick Spark Notes version. Bourbon is actually a very strictly unique spirit to the United States. It has to be produced here. It's made from a mash bill, 51% corn at least, and the rest of it, the percentage can be a combination of other cereal grains of rye, wheat, malted barley, etc. Has to be distilled at no higher than 160 proof. Has to be aged in a new charred oak container. Notice I didn't say barrel, but container at no more than 125 proof. So as soon as that distilled spirit goes into the barrel, can't be higher than 125. And it must be a minimum of 80 proof at bottling, or it's not considered a whiskey. Bourbon is very unique that we don't have any additives to it, no coloring, no anything like that. If you do that, then you call it whiskey.
And it's kind of neat. It's really what draws the line between bourbon and what bourbon starts out as is the aging in that oak barrel, and that is actually the tannins, the chemicals in the oak that the whiskey comes in contact with during the aging process is actually what gives a lot of the flavor. So a typical bourbon, and we're not talking about high rise or weeded bourbons or anything like that. That's thrown down the road. But your typical bourbon, that's where you're going to get your vanilla, your brown sugar, your toffee, caramel. If it's higher in age, you'll get maybe a little bit of smoke. You'll get some of that kind of oak flavor. You'll get leather. You'll get spice. All of that comes from the barrel. If you've ever had the chance to try moonshine or white dog or an unaged whiskey, it's going to be clear first off. It tastes like sour corn, and there's really not much flavor to it. So all those flavors come from that barrel aging process.
When we say charred barrel, typically there's 4 levels of char. And what they'll do is they'll put it over kind of almost like an incinerator type deal and kind of flash it first. I think the highest they do is like a minute. Don't quote me on that, but
yeah, level 4 is a 55-second char.
Yeah. The deeper that char is, the deeper the whiskey can actually soak into the wood.
Well, tonight we've got what I think are 2 really good picks in terms of value that I think highlight that barrel flavor really well. And they are both Heaven Hill products, and they're actually both Evan Williams products. And Eric is holding them up right there. We've got Evan Williams single barrel and Evan Williams 1783 small batch. Now, these are readily available at just about every single liquor store you can go to. The single barrel will run you about $24. The 1783 will run you every bit of $12 to $14. and these are for both 750 milliliters. Both of them are about 75% corn, with 12% rye, 13% rye, and then 10 to 12% barley. Kind of just best guesstimation from the internet. The single barrel is actually age stated, about 7 to 8 years old. My particular bottle was put in a barrel in 2011.
Mine was 2012.
The 1783 is not age stated. But Eric, it's kind of a somewhat common knowledge in the bourbon circles that this is some of the older Heaven Hill stuff that didn't quite make the cut for like your Elijah Craig 18s and whatnot. Is that right?
That's a nice way to put it. Yes. Reading my single barrel one, my bottle is actually 8 years and 1 month.
Let's see. I am 8 years and 2 months.
Ooh.
Winner, chicken dinner.
So, the main purpose with these two particular whiskeys is, Eric, they're about double the price between the two. Like you said, the 1783 is about $13, and the M. Williams single barrel's about 24 or 25, depending on where you are. The main reason we're taking these two is they're very similar proof. The single barrel is at 86.6, and the 1783 is 86.
Right.
Very similar proof. The difference being is one is a blend of, like I said, it's not confirmed. This is just from hearsay from friends in the bourbon industry. That the 1783 was some stocks that didn't make into some of the heavy allocated and heavy aged products that Heaven Hill does. It just kind of gets dumped in a blend. The single barrel is exactly what it says. This came from one barrel. So everything that we're tasting, of course, Eric and I are going to be tasting basically two different barrels. But for the most part, they strive for they have a specific set of tasting notes that they go for with this single barrel. There is going to be some nuances, but for the most part, they're going to be pretty damn similar.
Let's jump right in and see what we think about these then. So
all
we're
right.
doing
1750 first.
All right.
Okay.
It's a Heaven Hill product.
Good old Heaven Hill Dusty Corn. A lot of honey.
Nice vanilla. Some of the like nondescript, like I think the official term is what, summer fruit. Just kind of like
right.
it is off fruit that you can't quite peg.
Yeah. There is some fruit with sugar and seeds that I found in this. I think that narrows it down. Good vanillas, little hint of caramel. Nothing too crazy like burn or anything. Granulated sugar, brown sugar.
I'm surprised I don't get nearly the pop of like oak or wood that I would expect to get from something this dark.
You know what? It's funny because whenever I was like pre-tasting this before the recording, I got a lot of oak, and now that I put this in this glass and I let it kind of sit with its own vapors for a little bit, I hardly get any.
Lord, the vapors.
little tannicky on the back end. I kind of smell some of that like bitter chocolate. Nothing off-putting. Right, taste this bad boy.
It smells great though. Initial impression, I mean, you know the stuff that I like to drink, the proof I like to drink. It's mouth feels really thin for me, just right off the bat. Of course, it's 86 proof, so
yeah. I got more tannicky, kind of on the mid palate there. That initial burst kind of like drew just about everything away from the nose for for me. It was really, really oaky. I don't know. It was pretty thin. Pretty thin to me. Just like I said, it's 86 proof. I'm not here just dissecting it for shits and giggles, but
it's thin. You're right. That very first sip, you get everything that was sitting there on the nose with it. It does go pretty quickly to oak mid palate, and you and I were reading that one hoity-toity review of this earlier, where it was like a short but lingering finish.
Right. I was giving that review shit, but I kind of understand it.
I totally get it now. The actual finish of the whiskey doesn't last very long, but you do keep a lot of that oak on your palate for a while. Shall we we move right along?
Oh yeah. It's
all right. Color is, identical.
Yeah.
Between the two. Oh.
See, I got a lot more like fruit corn.
I don't. Okay, this is going to sound weird, but I need you to follow me. This is going to be a journey to explain what hit my nose first.
Whatever you say is not going to sound weird because we're literally sitting in here with jackets, bow ties, and nose fucking our whiskey.
That's true.
So say far away.
Okay. The cologne or aftershave brute.
Oh.
There's a part of that that's spicy, and you're like, that's kind of nice. Not the musky part.
That initial
like yeah. That's what I smell.
You're wearing brute.
Maybe somebody with a more seasoned nose would call that. We'll call it ginger, maybe.
Okay.
Ginger and black pepper. I think that sounds a lot better than my half-witted explanation of it. I have never smelled that in a whiskey before. That's wild. And yeah, there's a little bit of fruit and stuff in there, but that's really spicy on the nose.
See, mine is pretty faint. Mine's pretty, like I said, fruit corn. That's kind of what I get. I get fruit corn, and then it just kind of dissipates into just like a light honey, and then that's kind of about it. I don't get really much burn.
Getting some vanilla from that or with it. I'm excited about this.
All right, let's try it. Ooh. I got a lot more. There was a lot more kick on that one than the 83. That
See, mine's a little tamer. I got kind of that corny sweetness followed by some vanilla. Okay, there's a little bit of heat. And then like a flash of cinnamon, but not like spicy, like rye spice cinnamon, like actual cinnamon flavor, like a Noah's Mill or a Johnny Drum.
Yeah, I got I don't know, that was, to me it was like a watery, mushy graham cracker. Kind of just dissipated. The finish was pretty lackluster for me.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a.
Again, it's 86.6.
Yeah,
that much difference than the other one. I don't know. I got more. I did not get nowhere near the tannins than I did with the other one on the taste. I got more of actual bourbon notes for a younger bourbon, and by younger I meant 8 years.
I wouldn't call it. Yeah, I don't. There's nothing about this that drinks young.
No.
These are some pretty developed flavors, and in fact, my second sip those kind of baking spices were gone, and I got a lot of that, some of the fruit and vanilla and honey that probably you got on the nose of yours that I didn't on mine. I like both of these. I think
golden question. Worth double? Not and don't think about it as, yes, you would still buy this because it's only $24. Think of it as, is that double the price worth of the 1783?
So there's two ways I think that you can look at it. If you're somebody that wants a inexpensive, older tasting whiskey, if you want something that tastes 10, 12, 15 years old, then it's 1783. There's not a lot of depth to the flavor, especially at 86 proof, but there's some well-developed flavors. If you want something that kind of splits the difference, that you're getting an older whiskey than, say, Evan Williams Bottled in Bond, but you don't want too much age and you want some depth to your flavors, I think the single barrel is the way to go.
I like that assessment. As a Scotch drinker, I would gravitate toward that 1783. It's not typical to find a Scotch that's over 40%. There are, but it's not typical to find them there because it's a whole other flavor profile that they're trying to work with over in the weather conditions they have over there. So with something like this at 86 proof, getting the oak flavors as it is, when I drink, I like scotches with, a good rocks glass, and I'll just sip it and I'll just drink it neat. I pour me a couple of fingers, but I like that about scotch, because if I don't want to hit that like harsh bourbon hit, if it's summertime or something, I'll pour me a little light scotch. This is a good summer bourbon.
And now I'll answer your question in a different way.
I'll listen a different way.
I would be fine paying $30, maybe $35 for the flavor I get in both of these. But then if you look at the difference between the actual price and what I would be willing to pay, get more bang for your buck right here.
I would agree.
I'm not sad about either one of these, but I think if you want more bang for your buck, grab a bottle of the 1783. And if you don't like it, go grab the single barrel.
So, confirmation, we both prefer the 1783 for a more bang for your buck purchase. But we're not shitting on the Evan Williams single barrel.
No, these are both fantastic. And considering you can buy both of them for the price of like their older cousin, Elijah Craig, I don't think you'd be sad about that. They're both really, really nice products. So if you have enjoyed what you have seen here today, be sure to hit that like button for us. Let us know you're seeing what we're doing and like it. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We're doing our best to drop one of these videos about every week, but with Bourbon Month coming up and the Kentucky Derby, we may get a little crazy and start putting out some stuff off of our normal Sunday evening cycle. So you don't want to miss out on that. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Eric's_drink_whiskey. We're posting a lot there about the crazy stuff we're going out and buying, who we're talking to, what we're drinking, and when we also have new content dropping, so you don't want to miss out there. But I've really enjoyed this one. This was a fun little one, a fun little look at some just good old Kentucky bourbon. Until next time, guys, thank you for joining us, and cheers.